What? What the hell? Oh my god. There's gotta be like 50,000 of you guys out there. What the fuck? What's up YouTube? This is GalacticGod and welcome to a very special video. Quite recently I hit my 50,000 subscriber mark and it's one hell of a milestone really. Something that I never really thought I could possibly achieve. So what I'd like to do in this video is kind of take a quick look back and give you guys a little bit of an origin tale of how my channel was created. Now I've discussed parts of this here and there in different videos in the past, so those of you guys who have been with me for a very long time might, recollect some of these recountings that I have. But for those of you guys who are kind of new to my channel, this will be some new information for you. Now many moons ago, I first started playing and collecting Yu-Gi-Oh! And during the whole time of my genesis of this, I always found it fascinating how people would go to Frankincense, which was the place that I frequented quite often, and buy large amounts of unopened products, such as like boxes, packs, and even cases. I would see people buy this stuff there and go and just open it over at the tables where people dueled. I was always kind of fascinated by this, and as I kind of talked about this with my girlfriend Leah, I told her that I always wanted to buy, maybe a box or two and just see if, the amount of cards that you would pull would actually equal the cost of the box and whatnot. And our school financial aid money was coming up and Leah suggested, like, why don't we take some of it and go down to Frankincense and just buy like a bunch of random boxes and see what we can pull and see if it actually equals out to what the boxes cost. And it was kind of a little bit of an experiment. And so we went down and we did this and we bought our first, few boxes or whatever, and we pulled rather decently, like good enough to make more than what we spent. And I thought that was so cool. I was like, man, I went down and I spent, $200 on boxes, but I got back, $300 worth of cards. So I was all jazzed about it. And, some of the cards I didn't need or I wasn't looking to collect. And so I just went up on eBay and I posted them and sold them. And I made back half of my money. And I had kept, a good amount of the cards at the time because I wasn't planning on trying to make a lot of money off of it. And what this kind of formulated into was us continually going back to Frankincense at first and buying more and more boxes, and then we would keep, maybe half of the product or so and then sell the other half. And eventually, we would go from just buying random boxes to buying the new set. So I would get all the cards that I wanted from the new set and then sell all the extras. And we went from just buying boxes to actually buying cases. And we moved on from Frankincense to actually buying directly from vendors. I started learning card prices and the value of cards and how important the meta was to card prices and whatnot. And it was definitely a great learning curve. And as I was doing this, my friends who were still heavily into the game started talking to me about how they've been watching a lot of duel videos up on YouTube of Yu-Gi-Oh! And at first I was kind of like, why would you watch somebody else play the game? Like, I couldn't fathom why that would be entertaining. But eventually they talked me into giving it a try, and I watched some of the videos and I was really enthralled with it. I found myself getting really engaged with the players as they dueled back and forth and cheering one on or something like that. Oh, he sacked his way out of that, or something along that nature. And then one of my buddies actually suggested that I actually make my own channel and then put the product opening that I was doing anyways and make videos of it, because I thought people might find it really interesting to see case openings. And I was like, no one's gonna want to watch people open packs. And he was like, no, that's like huge. And then he showed me a bunch of videos where people were opening product on camera. And at first, just like with the duel videos, I was like, why would anybody want to watch that? But I found myself kind of like almost cheering the person on as they opened up all these packs. And I was like, oh my gosh, you got a great card at the end, or whatever the case may be. And the more I thought about it, I thought, maybe it might be actually kind of cool to go ahead and post videos up on YouTube, because I had started watching a lot of duel videos and a lot of product opening, and I was getting really into it, and I wanted to go ahead and on the newest case that we were going to buy, which was Storm of Ragnarok, I went ahead and decided, we're going to go ahead and record this. And my girlfriend was like, oh, alright, that sounds cool. And I just did the first one I did with just my camera phone. And back in the day when I first started doing this, camera phones were not what they are now. Now you can get like HD on your camera phone and everything. And mine was a horrible video and even worse audio. And I always look back at that first video I did and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe anybody watched it or could sit through it, let alone would subscribe to me based off of what they saw. So it was definitely a very humble beginnings, but I had a blast doing it, and I thought that was really what was the most fun. The fact that once I posted something up and somebody actually viewed it and commented on it, I just thought that was just the craziest thing. And then I remember getting, my first subscriber, and I was like, man, I can't believe somebody, would subscribe to me and wait to see when I would post out new videos. I just thought that was just the coolest thing in the world. And from there, I just kind of started making videos. A lot of product opening, because I was buying a lot of product, and then a lot of duel videos too. And at first the duel videos were nothing, very special. It was just basically, just a camera pointed at the table and we would duel. And eventually I started asking my buddy about, like, I wish we could, like, at least show the life points or something like that so people could follow along a little better with what we were doing. And, he was telling me that he was messing around with this program called Adobe After Effects, and he thought that, it should be really easy to do something like that in the program. And after the last duel video that we filmed, he went and he had put it into Adobe After Effects, added life points, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then we started talking about, other ways to improve it, and eventually we went to adding in, background music and sound effects. So like when our monsters would attack, it would show the damage that we did, and then create like a poosh or something. And eventually from there, moved on to adding in, the cards that would pop up that we're using, to creating intros, and then little lores that went along with the duels as well. And eventually I worked my way up to my first 100 subscribers. And I remember when that happened, I was so excited. I made this really horrible video of me just holding my camera phone over the computer screen. I wasn't even using a screen capture device or anything crazy like that, and just all excited talking about how I'd hit 100 subscribers. And that's essentially how I got started. I mean, eventually I would get better camera equipment and lighting, and I would learn how to use editing software such as Sony Vegas and even After Effects, so I could produce my own effects up on my videos. But I always have this certain fondness for those early kind of crazy wild days when we're trying to figure out how to do all this stuff. And whether you've been a subscriber from me from the very beginning or someone who just subscribed quite recently, I want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. It's definitely awesome to know that there are so many people out there that actually enjoy the content that I produce up here on YouTube. And being a YouTuber, I think, is a pretty cool thing. I definitely enjoy it very much. And hopefully I will be able to continue to do this for a very long time, and I just want to say thank you. And I guess that's going to do it for now. This is GalacticGod.